The FBI confirms it searched the home of Riverdale Mayor Lawrence Jackson today. The search may be related to work the mayor is doing on his home.
Because you took advantage of something that was blessed, was given to you, and you took advantage of it. Not only did you take advantage of it, you took advantage of the people. And so we the people that put you in, but we the people that take you out.
Illinois politics is a never-ending saga of corruption, scandals, and somehow even the most indicted officials still find a way to win. So we covered the election results earlier this week, talking about Tiffany Hayes and how she lost, but somehow we missed this important election in Riverdale. I can't believe we didn't talk about it, but we were so focused on Tiffany Hayes. But there is another mayor that I actually covered a couple of months ago on his channel. Lawrence Jackson, the mayor of Riverdale, who just cruised the victory in the Democratic primary despite facing a federal indictment. Meanwhile, obviously in Dalton, Tiffany Hayes, the super mayor, got absolutely obliterated in her own election.
Her stereo turned up, playing her campaign song, Feed the People, which she shared on her social media. She says it symbolizes the good things she has done for the village of Dalton.
But this isn't just about who won and who lost. This story takes a wild turn when you realize that Michael Earhart, Jackson's opponent, who ran on the same slate as Michael Smith, a well-known super mayor ally.
I wanted to come out tonight as a neighboring resident in the village of Riverdale. And I like to see people involved in the media. But here it is, I have an indicted mayor that's serving in our community, and we don't have this much media coverage going on. But we over here having media coverage here, and we don't put out the good things that is happening. But you guys got to connect the dots. D-O-T-T-S. Dots.
We want to talk about this because that might be the reason why Jackson won in the first place. So let's get into it. Riverdale is a small village located just a few miles from Dalton, making the political dynamics between the two very close and intertwined. With a population around 13,000, it faces a lot of the same struggles as other municipalities in the region, including, economic situations, public safety, and obviously leadership controversies. The results of the Riverdale primary election made one thing clear. Voters, for whatever reason, stuck with Jackson. He took 59% of the vote, leaving Michael Earhart in the dust with just 41%. A stunning win for a guy facing potential prison time, compared to Tiffany Hayes, who just had a lopsided loss. The collapse of her political empire wasn't just a local event, it was a full-scale implosion. The connection between the races is Michael Smith, a longtime Hayes crony who wanted to be trustee that latched onto Earhart's campaign. If voters saw Earhart as just another piece of the Hayes machine, that may have doomed his chances before the race even began. Jackson's victory is even wilder when you break down some of his legal troubles. Jackson's tenure as mayor has been shadowed by some serious legal issues. He is now facing an indictment of charges of perjury and obstruction of justice, allegations stemming from a civil deposition and a lawsuit involving a former city vendor.
Federal indictment outlining the charges 49-year-old Lawrence Jackson is facing following a lengthy federal investigation alleging Jackson received secret payments from a garbage and recycling firm.
His trucking business, Centennial Holdings. This story goes back to March 2018. Jackson and his wife, who apparently didn't know the first thing about trucking, started this company. But it wasn't really their business. The brains and the money behind it was of James and Kelly Bracken of Riverdale Materials LLC. They were the ones pulling the strings, funding everything from trucks to insurance. So now this is where the story gets a little bit more twisted. The Brackens were also behind a waste recycling facility in Riverdale, which got the green light from the village under Jackson's watch. But the plot thickens with a lawsuit filed against Riverdale Materials by Tri-State Disposal, a rival in the garbage business. They claim that Jackson played favorites, even reshuffling the village zoning board to help the Brackens.
Disposal in Riverdale had the contract for garbage pickup in the town until 2018. That's when the company alleges Riverdale Mayor Lawrence Jackson instead maneuvered to award the contract to another company that he was allegedly affiliated with.
He played the "I don't know what's going on" card, saying that his wife handled the business and denied any involvement in giving the Brackens a spring cleanup contract over Tri-State. The charges are saying that he was trying to hide the Brackens' involvement and his own role in this whole mess. The feds had the receipts, text messages, business records, all the proof they needed to charge him. If convicted, he could be looking up to 25 years in federal prison. But here he is, still running Riverdale. So why did Jackson win? Maybe the voters probably saw him as the lesser evil. I mean, compared to Hayes' blatant abuses of power, Jackson's alleged corruption seems like a standard in Illinois politics. But what's the bigger issue? Earhart's campaign was tied to Michael Smith, a name that carries all sorts of baggage and some serious issues with his past.
A dramatic meeting in Dalton leads to even more controversy, this time over a new hire.
The newest employee has a storied past.
My next appointment will be for village administrator.
Last night, Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard appointed a new top aide to a $100,000 a year job without board consent. 34-year-old Michael A. Smith, who's been active in South suburban politics for years.
He's a young person and ex-politician. He knows the laws like the back of his hand.
Perhaps that's because Smith has been in and out of trouble with the law for years. Public reporting shows Smith has been charged at least 8 times with crimes ranging from domestic battery to official misconduct. In 2012, Smith, then a young trustee in Dixmoor, resigned after pleading guilty to theft when he allegedly stole gasoline by posing as a police officer. Then in 2018, Smith was working as an assistant dean at Thornton Fractional High School when he was fired for sexual harassment of a female student, grooming a student with lascivious intent, and inappropriate aggressive behavior towards a male student. According to his termination letter, Smith was accused of contacting a 15-year-old female student on Snapchat with inappropriate comments and making her his girlfriend.
And that move faced backlash, reinforcing the perception that she was more interested in rewarding her friends than running an effective government. Michael Smith has been deep in Henyard's inner circle for quite some time, defending her, yelling in township meetings.
I want to thank Trustee Gonzalez for a great show tonight. Thank you. Let's tell the truth. The problem of the whole matter is Cassandra didn't get the supervisorship. You couldn't even get the votes. But we never talk about you holding 2 illegal seats. 2 illegal seats. Only reason why nobody has filed is because you can't find nobody to take your seat. You hold 2 illegal seats as a school board member and a township assessor. You have no business holding 2 seats. When you talk about being a government official, you are elected by the people to have duties. Certain things do not belong in the public. And you and Mr. Paul put this thing together. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You wrote down everything in this township, but you forgot to tell the people too you were in Las Vegas, right? Didn't you go to Las Vegas?
Not last year.
Did you go to Las Vegas? Answer my question. Did you go to Las Vegas?
The first year I did,
Did you go to Las Vegas?
so I know that the township has no business.
Did you go to Las Vegas?
The township has no business.
Yes, you did.
Because I know.
Yes, you did.
And I think his involvement in Earhart's campaign made the whole thing probably look suspect. It's quite possible Michael Smith's presence on Earhart's slate didn't just hurt, it probably completely tanked his credibility. Smith ran himself for trustee and lost, making it clear that the people of Riverdale wanted no part of him. And it seems like Henyard was probably backing Earhart, and that had to make things worse. The supermayor and Smith are closely tied, and if Earhart had have won, Henyard's influence may have bled into Riverdale politics. It's possible voters saw the setup and shut it down before it can take root. Now, local elections tend to be low turnout affairs, which means people who do vote are often those with a direct stake in administration. But around this area, everyone was talking about the issue that was going on in Dalton. Jackson's long tenure in office probably allowed him to build a coalition of loyal supporters, people whose businesses, jobs, and influence are tied to his continued presence. So this isn't new in Illinois politics. This is how the political machine survived despite ongoing corruption scandals. There's also a strong sense of voter fatigue when it comes to Illinois corruption. People are so used to seeing their leaders caught in scandals that doesn't seem to faze them anymore. For many voters, it's not about electing someone that's clean, it's about electing someone who at least can maintain the status quo. Jackson's administration, for all its faults, at least functions. And despite the indictment, it seems like people don't have the same issues that happening in Dalton. It doesn't feel like it's collapsing the way Dalton is doing under Henyard's rule. Henyard's political toxicity became so great that anyone associated with her, like Michael Smith, became collateral damage, and it's possible it sunk Earhart's campaign. But talking about Lawrence Jackson, if he is convicted, Riverdale could be thrown into a political crisis. The town will need a new leader, and with the way things have played out, there's no telling who's going to step up to fill that role. It's definitely not going to be Michael Smith. At its core, this entire saga exposed how broken Illinois politics truly is. Voters are forced to choose between corrupt but competent officials and unproven challengers tied to equally corrupt political networks. It's a system where the best option is often just the one who's slightly less terrible. In Illinois, it's strong because it's a cycle that keeps repeating until voters demand true real change. It will continue indefinitely. Lawrence Jackson doesn't have the issues Hannibal has, despite the fact that he is federal indicted. He's definitely not as infamous. I think most people don't know who he is. But it's still interesting regardless, because if he does get convicted, it's going to be more chaos and it'll just be in Riverdale. But we'll see what happens in Riverdale. I'm sure it's going to be interesting regardless of where it goes. And Michael Dotz, he's not going to be able to run anything anytime soon. But put in the comments below what you guys think about this story. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.